Hi, everyone. It's Stephanie and Sarah for our next episode of Books We've Read. And I just wanted to let you know that after our first episode, we had a request to put the theme and the books that we chose in the comments. So Sarah will do that when we post this video. And we also had a complaint from my husband who said that I was really boring. So I would like to apologize to anyone who fell asleep during my portion of last episode's book that I read, and I really hope that you don't find me so boring this time. So, today's episode is books that almost everyone else liked that we did not like. So, the book that I chose was a book that we did for the book club, and it was All the Light We Cannot See. And I found it to be really boring. I was definitely in the minority. We did it for the book club, and when I walked into that book club, I thought, oh gosh, everyone is going to hate this book. Well, guess what? They all loved it. Some of them said it was the best book they had read in years. I thought it was really boring. Now, 91% of Google users liked it, and it got a 4.3 out of 5 on Goodreads, and it was on the bestseller list for 130 weeks. So there's very few people that didn't like this book. The things that I didn't like about it is I found it kind of hard to follow. It skipped a lot from the past to the present. So if you didn't really kind of read it in a block, I kind of had to go back and remember things. I really wanted to like this book because I think that the way the author writes is really nice. I mean, like I like the descriptive parts and the way he puts sentences together and stuff. He's an excellent author. I just found the story itself to be incredibly boring and slow. And the themes of, humanity and disillusionment and destiny versus free will were all there. I'm not going to tell you the whole story. I don't want to give it away. But basically, it's a story of a German boy who was an orphan during World War II, and he is really good at fixing radios. So he was pushed into an elite Nazi training camp for teenagers, which was, you had no option, you had to join in those days. And once he graduated, he was pushed into the military, and his job was to find allies in the resistance in France who were using radios to broadcast information against the Nazis. The other main character was a woman named Marie Larie. I guess I'm saying that right. I know I said the Marie part right.
I know when I read it, I didn't pronounce it right, I'm sure, in my head.
That's the problem with reading sometimes. You don't know if you're saying the word right in your head. You're just guessing. And she was blinded at the age of 6, and she had a wonderful father who took her with him to work all the time. He had a high-level job in a museum. Not high level in the sense of he was the CEO, but more like highly respected and very mechanically inclined. And he created a little model for her of their neighborhood so that she could get around and stuff. And she was very smart. He encouraged her to read everything that she could that was available in Braille. And then they lived in Paris, and a couple months after D-Day, they moved to the Northwest Seacoast area to stay with her uncle, who has what we now call PTSD from World War I. They were calling it shell shock because that's what it was called in the old days. And she eventually joined the resistance, and she was broadcasting over a radio. So that's how they sort of got on each other's radar. I'm not going to tell you any more than that because I don't want to ruin it for you if you do want to read it, because you'll probably like it since most people do. The other thing I thought was kind of hokey about it is that there was this, they called it the Sea of Flames. And it's this 133 karat diamond that has an ancient curse on it. I mean, could you be any more Indiana Jones? I mean, how many dorky, cheesy books and movies have some sort of item that has a curse? And the curse of this item was that the person who possesses it lives forever, but everyone that they love has horrible tragedy or death. So I don't know. I just it just was, I really, like I said, I really wanted to like it because I think this author is a great writer in general. Like the descriptive parts were really nice, and the words that he chose to describe things, and the way he put sentences together, I really liked that part of it. I just didn't like the story. Now, did you read this story, Sarah?
I did. I read it a long time ago, so I don't remember in a lot of details. I remember thinking it was okay. I didn't love it, but I didn't dislike it as much as you disliked it. But to be fair, Stephanie knows this, but most of what I read for myself is historical fiction. So a lot of what I read is very similar to this. So it didn't bother me as much as it bothered you. But I don't remember loving it either. It was okay. It was okay. I've read things that I liked much better.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
anyway,
sorry, go ahead.
Oh, and this is available on Cloud Library. The same as last time, we're choosing books that you can get on Cloud Library. So if you want to tell them about your book, I'll hold it up.
I was going to say, did you find picture? So
I did.
People are not going to like me for this one. The book that I really, truly hated that many people love is The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. It's about 800 pages of terrible. That's a regular print too. The large print is even bigger. We did this for 2 months over for a book club, and some of the patrons who need large print, they couldn't even attempt to carry it because it was so big. People love it. It was even made into a movie recently. But The Goldfinch is a painting. And in the very beginning of the story, there's a boy who goes to a museum with his mom, and they're looking at this goldfinch painting, and there's an explosion, and his mom dies, so he ends up being on his own. And I just feel like it was the main character is not believable. For a kid who was supposed to have grown up in Manhattan by himself, he has no street smarts. That does not seem like it would make any sense to me at all. There's drug use in the book. There's other types of abuse in the book. It just was not an enjoyable read, and I'm a bad librarian. I read the Cliff Notes for the second half of the book because it was so bad, I could not read the whole book. And that rarely happens. Even books I don't like, I try to read the whole thing. And this was probably one of 2 books I can ever think of that I could not read. This and The Good Earth. So yeah, like I said, people absolutely love it. Maybe try the movie. To be fair, I didn't watch the movie. I would think they would have had to cut out a lot of the book to make a 2-hour movie, because again, it's like 800 and something pages. It's ginormous. But maybe you are like one of the hundreds of thousands of people who love the book and want to try it. It is, like I said, very large, so it will probably take you a long time to read. I think the thing I really didn't like about the most was all the detailed description of the different abuses, and really it's just the main character wasn't believable, was my main issue with it.
I haven't read that one. I only read Donna Tartt's first book, which was The Secret History, which is really fantastic, and I would recommend that. But I haven't read The Goldfinch. And I think she's only published like 3 books in 20 years.
Yeah, and I think that's part of it too, is her first book was so phenomenal that when this came out, people were like, oh, I'm going to read it just because it's Donna Tartt. I don't think necessarily they would have read it otherwise. I could be wrong, but that's my main thought. And like I said, enough people liked it that they turned it into a movie. So,
yeah. Well, they turn a lot of things into movies that you wonder why. And they're running out of ideas to keep redoing movies.
Part of me is tempted to watch the movie just to see if it is any better than the book, but at the same time, who wants to sit down to a movie knowing that they're most likely not going to like it?
Well, that's true too. Well, that could be another theme that we do, where the movie was better than the book, which is kind of rare. It might take us a while to find one. Well, I know one already that I could do for that.
Oh, really? I would have to think for a while on that.
Yeah.
The book is so okay, so I'll think on that one, and maybe that can be one for a future meeting. Yeah. But just like last time, if you have an idea of a theme you'd like us to go over, let us know. So that we can either pick something we've already read or get reading on a book.
Exactly. And we hope we didn't bore you this time.
not.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can't bust on Dennis too much. I mean, he is our best volunteer and fixes many things for us. Probably saved this library over $10,000, but at the same time, you think he would be a little nicer to me on my first ever video.
The only compliment I got was from my mother, and she has to because it's my mother.
Well, my sisters liked it. They liked our video.
Yes.
My sister Lisa was the one who recommended we put the theme and the books
Yep.
we chose in the comments. So,
All
anyway,
right.
thanks for joining us. And if you have if you've read these books, let us know what you think. Especially if you agree with us, we would love to hear that. And if you don't, that's okay too, because we know that we are totally in the minority on both of these books that we chose.
Exactly. All right. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.